I took and put our power cord in, tied my UL knot that I covered back in the Colorama series, and I installed this fuse, and I used a polarized plug, so I put the positive one onto the fuse, which goes to the switch, and then the negative one, or the neutral, I put to pin 2 of the rectifier tube. Let's go put the speaker on. We're going to hook this speaker up. Of course, this is the output transformer, red and a blue, even though it doesn't look like a blue. That'll go to the output tube, which is the 50L6. The blue one will go to pin 3, and the red one will go to pin 4. Now, the secondary of this output transformer, if you'll recall, it went through the hole, and then it came back and attached to the voice coil. So I'm going to put it back through the hole just like I did. Since I've put sleeving on this, or heat shrink on this, I may have to open this hole up a little bit, and we'll see how that works. And of course, like I said, these go to the voice coil. Now, this is the speaker field, and it will attach. This one goes to pin 8 of the rectifier, which is this connection right here on the positive side. That's where the B plus goes in. It drops, goes through that. This is a coil. This is an inductor. It's part of the filter choke. And then the other side will come out and will attach to pin 4 also of the output tube. So that should complete the circuit. Let me see if this will fit in the hole, and we'll hook it up from there. I'm going to try to do this on camera, but these 2 wires go to the voice coil. I had a friend locally. He told me he was concerned when I was pulling these wires out that the tags were going to come off of it. Well, I told him what I used. I used paper tape. It's the kind that you go to the drugstore and get. I've seen people use masking tape, and that works too, I guess. But I just seemed to like this better, and it comes off fairly well, and it stays on pretty good. So I'm going to attempt to do this on camera, but as you can very well see right now, all you're going to see is the back of my hand. So we'll try it, and we'll go from there. But remember, these came through the hole, and then I can't even see, let alone let you see. I'm just going to bend this slightly so it'll go into the hole. I don't know if you can see that or not. I've put one of the screws in temporarily, just not very tight. Not this one, it's the one below it, to hold the speaker still. So let's see if I can get some solder on this. Get a good connection, simply because we need this good connection for our speaker. Let's see if that'll stick. I want a little more solder on that. sure both what you're soldering to and the wire you're soldering gets the temperature in the solder. Otherwise you'll have a bad joint. Alright, I think that we'll dress these wires again shortly. And here's the other one. This may be a disaster trying to show you on camera, but it is what it is. I made a statement that it was easy to come off. Well, it's not cooperating with me. But this is not the tape that I put on initially and brought through the holes. This has been put on after I put the heat shrink on the wires to protect it. And it stuck that heat shrink pretty good. Let me get it. Yeah, I don't have to get it all off, but when you're... That's just me. I like to get it all off. Alright, let's see if we can work this in here somehow or the other. And it will go into here. Like that. It's a little better there. All right. Let me prepare the next wires. Well, I tried, guys, but working like this, there was no value in it, okay? So from I connected the voice coils up. You remember they ran out through that hole, which I questioned why they didn't come through the slot, but you know, I decided to put it back the way it came. The blue wire came over to the output tube on pin 3. That's that one. I haven't soldered any of these yet. I want to make sure that, you know, I get them dressed properly and they're in the right place before I do solder. Then on pin 4 of the output tube, I put the primary of the output transformer on it, but the other wire goes to the other end of the speaker field coil, and then the other end of the speaker field coil connects up here to the rectifier tube on pin 8, which is the cathode, and it also, that's the tie point to the capacitor here. So I'm going to double check this before I solder it, and then we'll bolt this down, and we should be getting ready to put the antenna on and go from there. Attaching the speaker. It's virtually impossible. Yeah, it's a little better. Now this, let's see. Attach the light. I left it loose because of the dials coming up. We got to put the dial on. I don't want that to get in the way, and then we'll make the adjustment. I went ahead and soldered the phono plug back, and also the antenna on the external antenna connection. Now I went ahead and just cut the wires and tinned those and put them, and I wanted them to where they fold a little bit. Now this one won't reach, but I wanted to have enough room to do all that, and so I'm just going to solder these a little bit, and then we'll mount this in place. And then all we got to do is bring this up like this, put our screws in thusly. I won't tighten them down. And then we'll come up there and put the grid wire from the antenna to the tuning condenser. Right there. See if I can get that soldered. That should do it. And we have that in place. Now let's turn this around and put the dial on the front. Remember, it's a D-shaped shaft, and that just fits right in like that. Fits on like that. This comes around and it goes one and to the second one, and then it comes up, and I'm going to have to use a set of pliers, I believe, to put that on. If I'm lucky, I can. Try to do this without so you can see it. So it should be parallel. It comes back around and all the way fully meshed should be parallel. So we're looking good. I don't like that spring like that. Oops. Oh. Now I really don't like the spring. I'm going to turn this spring around like this. Much better. Much better. Okay. Now this dial looks okay. Let's go ahead and tighten that down. If I got the right, oh, here it is over here. We'll go ahead and tighten this. Now let's get the tubes in here and see if this thing won't fire up. Got the tubes in, and we're going to bring this up. I have not brought this up off camera. This is live as it happens, so we will see. I've rearranged things on my desk so I can't do a pan where I can see the where you can see the current and the voltage. You'll just have to trust me on that, but you can watch on the radio. Now, since these are brand new capacitors, we're going to bring it up slow, and I'm going to bring it up first to 25 volts and let it sit for a minute or so. The current looks like it's about 100 milliamps and falling a little bit, so I do see a faint glow in the bulb. So let me pause this. There's about a minute or so. I'm going to bring it on up to about 50. Let's go to 60. See a little bit more glow in the lamp, I believe. Current is still less than 200 milliamps. We'll let that sit for a minute or so. Okay, let's bring it on up. There's about 80 volts. Current is running just less than 200 milliamps, about a needle's width below. Getting a little buzzing action.
Always shop first. Here at Ray County Radio, our motto is, if you can't find it here, you probably don't need it.
And I would probably think that the noise is that light right there. And that's running about 80 volts. And I'm setting on 200 milliamps. So let's bring it on up. There's 105 volts.
Why is MasterPass by MasterCard the modern way to pay? MasterPass online, MasterPass in store, and MasterPass.
Now this is with the loop itself. There's no other antenna. Okay, let's bring it on up to 120 volts. And we're just shy of 300 milliamps. So let's attach an outside antenna to it and see. Got a lot of noise going. My TV's on in the next room. Let me turn that off. Did that make a big difference?
Well, what makes it okay for you to take a deep breath? Say, okay, could they turn the corner?
Let me put it like this.
Let's see. That's 970. Sounds pretty good. That's 970, so let's go a little.
Prohibiting use of obscene or vulgar language.
All right, let's disconnect the outside antenna. Made a big difference. Now it still receives. Moving my hand makes a big difference. So that seems to be working okay.
Case, can't we get somebody?
So we'll go through an alignment on this, but I think that's a success, guys. We're running line voltage right now.
Now I want to understand.
A little Jackson Brown going there.
I have done all that I could.
My local station started playing Christmas music now, so that's pretty cool. Let's see if there's anything down on the bottom side. If I can get 570, 580, I mean. Let's see if I can hook up an antenna here.
Want to have you finally, you're just beginning.
All right. where I'm at on this, guys, I'm still waiting on the dial, the glass from Radio Days, and I'm also waiting on the dial from Radio Days for the Colorama. But I believe this is pretty much complete, except for the cabinet, putting it back together, putting it all back together. But it's been a fun little project. It's got a good little sound. So I'm gonna call this good for now, and the next one will be marrying the cabinet and this back together. I hope you enjoyed this. I sure have. So from Larry from the hills of Tennessee, thanks for watching.